with the rest of their people in Goma. Rumours swirled in those first few weeks that other cities might have resisted, that a few might have escaped the indomitable forces of the Human Federation. But in the end, they were only rumours. None could stand against the might of the Federation. And then had come the first games. Death matches between gladiators had long been a tradition of the humans of Talam. The elders had encouraged them, in fact, thinking the games an acceptable outlet for the innate aggression of humanity. But the Federation had seen an opportunity in the games, an opportunity to punish their ancient enemy. Somewhere overhead, the crowd cheered again. This time the noise continued, like the roar of a distant storm. Serena's heart sank. So the Alfur had fallen. She wondered if it was one of theirs, an Alfur born of Talam and freedom, or was it one of those the Federation had brought to the planet? That change had started more recently, when new Alfur had appeared in their neighbouring cells. At first she'd thought them Alfur from other cities, captured at last after months on the run. The truth was crueler still. The newcomers did not come from Talam at all, but other planets. They were Alfur, deemed too much trouble to keep as slaves, sent now to Talam to fight and die in the games. Chains rattled as Serena shifted, clenching her fist again around the scar in her palm, frustrated by her weakness. For all the years her people had lived on Talam, her father had dreamt of the day others might join them here, that he might find a way of rescuing their people and bringing them to safety. Now, finally, they would see the open skies of Talam, but not for liberation. They would find only death here, death at the end of a burning blade of light. Fool, fool, fool! Serena exhaled as the roar of the crowd began to subside. They would come for them soon. In the darkness, she sensed her father stir. His overly large eyes appeared as he woke. "Is it time?" Serena clenched her fist. "Remember, stay behind me." A flickering light appeared as she spoke, or rather light, as an attendant moved down the corridor outside their cell, carrying a platter set with 2 glasses. Her blood stirred at the sight of the light within each. This would be the only meal they received all month, just before they were to battle to the death. She supposed it wouldn't make much of a show otherwise, if they fought while starving. She tried not to appear too eager when the attendant paused outside and waited for the buzz that would unlock their cell. When it came, he pushed open the door and set the platter on the ground before them. He backed up quickly, as though fearful they might launch themselves at him. Small chance of that, weak as they currently were. But the humans of Talam had spent their entire lives viewing the Alfur as a deadly threat. Old habits were slow to fade. Once outside and with the doors closed again, the human took a device from his pocket. A few presses of its buttons and the door clanged, the locks resetting. He lingered a moment, waiting to see what they would do with the light. Neither Serena nor Aidan moved from their seats. They still had some dignity, little as it was. The caretaker seemed to realize this, as with another press of his remote, the shackles on their wrists and ankles clicked open and fell to the ground. He gave a snort of derision. Funny how they were always brave outside the cage and retreated down the corridor. Serena rose slowly, rubbing at her chafed wrists. Her entire being trembled with hunger, and her legs shook as she stepped over to the tray and lifted the glasses. Mostly, she and her father spent their days in an almost trance-like state, a type of hibernation that let them survive the month between games without losing their minds to the hunger. She could feel her weakness as she sank back to the bench beside her father. It took all her strength to set the second glass down for him, rather than take it herself. "You should drink it," he rasped in the gloom. Serena shuddered at the strength that must have taken to offer up his own meal. She longed to do as he said. Instead, she took her own glass and downed it in a single gulp. It was a moment before her body began to process the sudden offering. Then she gasped as power surged through her limbs.